This episode is sponsored by Battlefoam.com, now with new lower shipping prices.
Progress comes to a world of magic as science and the arcane combine to make marvels. Meet steampunk inventors and orc mystics at the Volsun Hub on beastsofwar.com. It's time for 28mm World War II action. Will you recreate history or reshape it your way? On the Bolt Action Hub at beastsofwar.com.
Hello everyone and welcome back to The Weekender. This time I'm joined by Justin.
Hello.
By Ben up on the screen.
Hello!
And no one else. I'm afraid after last week I was just too scared to ask Warren for another presenter.
That and the construction of 2.0 continues apace.
Yeah.
We're getting very
We're nearly there, so hopefully we'll see Warren again soon. But yeah, things are progressing well with 2.0. Hopefully we'll be seeing that very soon.
Yeah,
very
hopefully.
soon.
Very.
Okay, before he goes off on that one again. Yeah, right. Yes, welcome to The Weekender, where we join you to discuss everything that's been going on in the gaming world.
Yes.
Before we get stuck into this one...
Can I announce this one?
Go ahead.
We have a prize up for grabs this weekend. As you will probably notice later in the show, we have the guys from Wild West Exodus in, and we have a prize to give away. So we will be giving away the Red Oak starter set and a set of Red Oak buildings to get you and a mate into the game.
Yeah, be sure to stay tuned to see how you can win those. Epic prize. I was having a wee game with the Red Oak starter set.
They're fun.
I like my lawmen. My lawmen.
I'm sorry, I'm a union man at heart.
Oh dear me. Well, that isn't the only thing. Yes. This episode will also be announcing the winners for last week's Godslayer prizes.
And salute!
And the salute prizes.
So, prepare yourselves. There's a lot of them.
Let's just see, just quickly, how many names is there?
How many
1,
pages of
2,
names?
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 18, 19, 20. That's a lot! It's a lot, I can't do math.
Sam, the way you should have done that. 1, 2,
Yeah, I am not the count. Right, if anything, I'm the cookie monster at the moment.
Really?
Right.
Are you munching away on cookies?
Oh, yes.
Oh,
Now,
cookies.
The other updates. Diemension Games have launched their Celestial range. It
Yes.
is now available on their web store.
Yes, and looking very pretty, I must say.
Yeah.
So the first one, who is this, if I remember right? The Queen of the Void,
Queen of the Void.
looking very creepy and very nice. We then also have, who is this? This
Twilight.
is Twilight.
Yeah.
Again, interesting if you want to do some maybe alien skin tones. You could go and check out some of Romance skin tones. And then we have, I'm not even going to try.
I will. Zidral. Or Gidral.
I
I think that's pretty much on point.
You try, Ben, you try.
It's a monster.
I'm fairly sure it is just Sidral. Sidral? Sidral. Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
Sidral. That's the name.
Well, if you want to buy any of those, including Big Serpent Dude, they are now available. And remember that Diemension Games are currently running their high-end invitation-only painting competition.
Yeah.
And we've been supplying the judging panel.
Yes.
That's with judges including our own Roman,
Of course.
Chris Hanley,
Yep.
Thomas Mez, so that's our crew. But we also have people like Dave Taylor, Angel Heraldez.
Now,
Yeah,
see, I always call him Angel Heraldez. Why do you always go Angel?
because I believe that's his name.
Yeah, but is that not more the Spanish pronunciation? Or
Where's he from?
Okay, fine.
Yeah.
Be pedantic.
Yeah, well, be sure to go over to the Facebook group where that painting competition is. You can take a look at the progress and cast your votes for the ones that are your favourites. Yeah, there's some fantastic work going on. And be sure to check out the articles where our judges have left their comments on the progress as well.
Mm. I'm just having a little sneaky peek here.
Something catch your eye?
Well, just looking at some of the detail work, seeing someone actually paint these in component pieces before assembly. This is the way all the big guys do it, the professional guys. Just to actually get into all those detail points.
Yeah.
Now, let's just dance in a happy little sky. And remember, this is your world. You get to make and break the rules here.
Sweet baby Jesus.
Last update we have before we get stuck into the show is the GeekNSon UK Games Expo table and raffle announcements.
Yes,
Yeah.
so that's this.
That is this. Well, actually, it's not this, and I'll
No?
get into this in a second, okay? Before we take a look at that table.
Okay.
Yeah, GeekNSon are providing us a table for UK Games Expo where we will be doing our series of live streams with
course.
different companies. Which means we have a lovely setup to broadcast to you all from and show off the games to the best of their...
Yeah, basically the way we're planning this is people have booked in half-hour slots with a 15-minute break between, where they get a half hour to show us the latest and greatest of what they've been up to. So you can jump in, you can ask questions, we're going to have the live chat on the go. So if you have any burning questions for some of our games company friends out there, this could be your chance to get in there.
Yeah.
So we should be doing, over the 3 days, day 1, 3 4-hour slots, day 2, 3 4-hour slots, day 4, 2 4-hour slots. I believe that's how it's breaking down. I could be completely wrong.
I can't remember off the top of my head, but it's something like that.
Something along those
There's
lines.
a lot of good content that's going to be made
Yes.
to do that, and it's going to be made on a beautiful table.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now,
every event I go to, I look at GeekNSon, it's just like, do I have space for it in my apartment?
Well, unfortunately, this one we can't keep it. No. GeekNSon are going to be raffling it off.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this exact one that we're going to be using.
Yes, the exact one we're using at the event. GeekNSon are going to be raffling it off.
Right.
Yeah. So you'll be able to get your raffle ticket and get in with a chance of a superb gaming table. In fact, let's take a look at it this time.
All right.
Yeah. Now,
So-
it's important to note that this is not the actual table we'll be using.
Yeah.
They've still got some tweaks they need to make. But this is the type of table it is. One of their dentist tables, I believe it is.
It's really, really
Yeah.
nice. See, I like this design of one where you can have the raised area or actually have something
Yeah.
a little bit deeper. If you've got those friends, and we all have those friends who are way too rough with the dice. Let's be honest here. They will chuck them everywhere.
Oh, yeah. Most definitely. But
And it
yeah,
infuriates me.
so everything that is seen on the table will be available
Yes.
to win.
Okay, and just for everybody at home, I will make sure our friends who are coming to live stream with us will not get any coffee rings on your brand new table.
Tea rings, yes, but no coffee rings. Because we have standards.
No tea
That's
rings.
what gives it its authentic
rings.
look when you got the rings on it. So
I don't know, anytime I get like a new piece of furniture or anything that's like that, that's quality like that, someone puts a can of Coke, a bottle of juice, anything down on it, it's just like, get it off! How many of you are like that out there? How many of you are like that out there?
I tend to be very pedantic about the coasters. You will use the coaster.
Yes.
I've been to many pubs and I've got many beer mats from many pubs that I use on all our tables that we're playing games with. So yeah, don't worry, Justin. I won't spoil any of your furniture.
It's not my furniture, it's going to someone who wins it, so I want to leave it in good condition for them.
Very
So I'm
true.
saying that right now. I'm gonna take care of that table for whoever wins it. You're welcome.
I'm just going to be standing near that table with a cup of tea every so often, just
Don't you do it.
Justin diving in with a coaster.
Maybe we should maybe
Oh.
we should even throw in Justin as like the caretaker for the table. So when you win
Yeah.
it, you'll also get to take Justin with you, and he can polish
Yeah.
it for you as he
I
does
don't
every
look
week.
at-
So-
I don't think any
Look
gamer...
at that.
I
Look
don't-
at that.
No, I don't think any gamer would want to take me home. Look at this face. No. This is a face for radio.
We'll even put on a little dicky bow for him, you know?
Yeah.
Try it and die.
So if you want to in a chance to win the raffle for that GeekNSon table and your very own manservant, be sure to keep an eye out as
I'm
we
not
announce
that
more.
posh. At most, I'd be a baldric.
Right. Now let's move on to the news.
All right.
Come on, Baldric. Okay, Ben.
Right, my lord. The first thing in the news is going to be some Age of Sigmar updates,
Okay,
and there may be turnips.
It is the mortal realm, so turnips could definitely be a thing. But anyway, yes, so this is going to be a little bit of a jumping around one, Justin, so be prepared for the
All
link
right.
jumping. It's going to be crazy.
Okay.
But we're starting things off with some stuff that was new from the Age of Sigmar. Now, you might have to scroll down a little bit in that main post, and there's also some extra links there you can check to as well, Justin. But they have been showing off some of the new stuff that's coming for both the Forces of Order and the Forces of Death in Age of Sigmar 2nd edition.
I see.
So, in June for this year, we're going to be seeing 2 new sort of factions coming down to the tabletop. We've got the Sacrosanct Chamber for the Forces of Order underneath the Stormcast Eternals, and also the Night Haunt, which are a range of undead creatures for the Order of Death. And this all comes, as I say, around the idea of Age of Sigmar 2nd Edition. So they're going to be taking the game, looking at it in its entirety, refining things, tweaking things, making it so that the game plays out more cinematically and everything like that. Some of the big stuff they've talked about so far is they're going to be pushing forward the narrative. So they're going to be looking towards what was called malign portents that has been happening over the last couple of months. This has been when Death rose up, and he's been starting to Nagash himself has been starting to make his way into the mortal realms to try and take over as much as he can. And this has obviously had repercussions for everything else in the world of Age of Sigmar. And so these are the 2 big main factions now. You've got the Forces of Order under Sigmar himself, and you've got Nagash and his Forces of Death too. One of the other big things they've been talking about as well with this is that they're going to be putting a real emphasis on magic and adding more of that into the game world. So it's proper cinematic magical effects for your gaming tables, which is pretty cool. So there's actually going to be proper models that will sit down the table and be in effect those spells that you've just cast. So you'll see magical vortexes and all kind of things whirling across the tabletop, and they're basically expanding on what they did with Age of Sigmar so far and adding on to that. So that's a pretty massive coming forward for Age of Sigmar there, seeing as we're looking forward towards a new edition, which is going to be pretty interesting. I think they've taken a lot of feedback on what's been happening with this from the community as well, because there is a very, very vibrant Age of Sigmar community, and they've been working with them to try and make this the best that they can. So that's pretty cool indeed for a starting point for what happened at Warhammer Fest this weekend. So yeah,
I am actually loving the look of a lot of this stuff, especially the stuff for Nagash's groups. I love me ghosts. I absolutely love my ghosts, and that gallows ghost in particular caught my eye.
Yeah, it's quite the cool miniature. Do you want me to call it up again for
Yeah,
you?
bring it up, bring it up.
Come to me, my little friend.
There he is. If he is your little friend, I fear for you.
He just wants a ghost hug. You can't feel it, but it's there.
Okay, that is mildly disturbing. If Casper looks like that, I would actually watch Casper. That would be amazing.
You do realise by now Casper's probably grown up, and that's probably him when he's got a hangover?
He hasn't grown up, he's a ghost. They can't grow up. The other ghosts that really caught my eye were the ones that are most definitely undead Skaven.
These?
Yes. These guys. I mean,
yeah, so they've been doing a really fascinating thing with the aesthetic for everything we're seeing here for the Night Haunt, and they're actually looking towards these other races, as you were saying there, Sam. So it's going to be really cool to see what they do, and if they bring in some elves or some Duarden as well into the mix too, that could be kind of cool. So yeah.
Now, is that something we've really seen much of before, seeing other races turned into undead?
This was the thing I was going to bring up. The only time I can remember seeing undead other races in Games Workshop was a Regiment of Renown from the old...
It was Richter Kruger's Cursed Company.
That was it. That was it. The Cursed Company.
See, I mean, like, I know I've seen, like, in some board games you'll have, like, the odd undead dwarf or something. Dungeon Saga, I think. But I haven't really seen it widespread.
No, it's something that actually has always annoyed me when it comes to undead in
it's just
fantasy.
dead humans.
Yeah. Now, I want to see all the other species. I used to have an undead lizard man from the Cursed Company. I had one of those figures. And it was so characterful to see this collection of skeletons from the different factions all together.
Yeah.
So,
it's a cool idea. Well played, Games Workshop. Very well played.
So we'll move on to some of the extra news that came out of this as well. There's a couple more pieces that we want to cover. The first of these is the announcement that the Specialist Game Studio are going to be bringing Adeptus Titanicus to the tabletop.
Oh.
So you'll be able to bring your Imperial Knights and your Titans down onto the tabletop in, I think it's around 6 mil-ish, I think.
Yeah, something like
with
that.
some really cool looking models, some awesome terrain as well, and they said that they've done a lot of work on this, building up the game and everything around it to create this as a huge experience for people. They've really gone back to what people love from Epic. They've taken across all these things like the Titans and the Knights, as we just said there, and they're going to be bringing them down to the table for some really cool cinematic battles and stuff like that. I believe they're going to be doing, I think it's 2 different versions of the box. So there's one which is called like this like extreme epic version, which comes with loads of really cool stuff in it. I'm not entirely sure on the actual name of it anyway, and then there's another one which is a little bit more of a core product that you'll see on the store for a sort of extended period of time. But yeah, Adeptus Titanicus is coming back, and apparently it's very, very cool indeed from what people have been saying at Warhammer Fest. So.
Well, I actually did see on Facebook, there were actually pictures of a couple of people actually holding the knight models. And the knights are maybe about 2.5 inches tall. So I mean, like, I think 6 mil, you're about right there, Ben. So it's something that those big models are still reasonably sized for you to get some paint down on. The reason I don't do 6 mil, I don't want to paint with a toothpick. So if I got something, it's 6 mil, fine, but the thing's meant to be about 20 foot tall or 15 foot tall, I'm okay with this. I'm okay with this.
So this means we need to get you on that 6 mil painting challenge we've been talking about.
Oh no, I don't want to. I don't want to.
That's exactly why. It's for people who don't want to. Yeah. Very exciting news to see that moving into that that scale again. Something else I see here is a new Dark Elf Blood Bowl team, and we caught a glimpse of that earlier.
Yeah, because Ben put the links in the wrong order.
It was because I was blogging away as Warhammer Fest was happening over the weekend, and so I was filling this in, and so things are updated on a different schedule and all that kind of thing like that. So I told you there'd be some jumping around, Justin. So it's okay.
All right, so
that's you told.
I do not accept this. Anyway, the Blood Bowl team. These look really nice. The sculpts are so sharp on these, and yeah, with it being the elves, I expect them to be a little bit spiky. And they are most definitely spiky.
And as well as the Dark Elf team that we see there, they've also shown off some of the bits and pieces in the past couple of days as well. They're going to be doing a whole bunch more themed pitches too. So if you like the idea of having a pitch that's themed around your particular faction, then there's going to be some awesome stuff for you to go and pick up on that front as well. And then we're going to jump straight into the next thing, which is for Warhammer 40,000. And of course, one of the big things they talked about earlier in the year was they're going to be doing Sisters of Battle in 2019. And the first render for the Sister of Battle has been shown off at Warhammer Fest last weekend. So this is going to be a model that's going to be available for order before the main release of everything else, just to tie people over so you can test out your paint schemes and stuff. But I am loving the look of this, and it's going to be really, really damn hard to not do an Adeptus Sororitas army when it comes out in 2019 and get stuck back into some 40k. So yeah,
I'm going to say this now, the sculptors who went back and reworked this, I love what you've done with the proportions of this miniature. I remember the old Sisters of Battle, they were really like wasp waist, really unrealistic.
That's true,
This has some beautiful real life proportions to it, which are really just doing it for me. I'm loving it. Absolutely loving it.
It is a superb miniature, and you get all that great gothic detail. It almost looks like she's wearing a cathedral.
Yes.
You know, they are essentially walking pillars of faith.
Yeah.
So, you know, why not make the armor a cathedral?
Yeah, it's
whenever you hear that the largest titans are essentially, you know, walking cathedrals or imperial cities.
Yeah,
sure.
No, it's something I think actually works a lot, especially for this, and the armor is different enough. I remember when I first, back in the early days of the Sisters of Battle, I always thought, oh, it's female Space Marines. No, this looks like something very different, unique, and stylish to themselves. Yeah.
And the last little piece of news that came out of this, just for now, there was a lot more stuff that happened as well, and we're going to touch on it a little bit later in the news as well. But the last thing I want to talk about is some stuff for Lord of the Rings. Now, the Specialist Game Studio, we're also talking about this in great detail, and they showed off some of the new models they've been working out for the faction of Minas Tirith, so the Kingdom in Lord of the Rings. So they have shown off a range of very, very nice looking Dol Amroth knights there that you can see, as well as some really cool miniatures for some of the characters they're going to be bringing out as well. So they're going to be looking into things that are included not just necessarily in the movies, but also the books. And they did stress as well that there's a lot of stuff they have to go through when it comes to the hoops they jump through when it comes to creating models for the tabletop for this. So you might have to wait a little bit of time for them, but they are definitely coming. So the first one there is the mounted character who's called Hurin, and then there's also Ingold as well. Now these are two characters that existed within the timeline of the books and everything like that. For example, Ingold himself was effectively one of the cool custodians that rode out in defense of Gondor and stuff like that as well, which is really cool. And some of the sculpting for this is really, really nice too. I love the more sort of action-packed poses they're going for as well. And we've really seen Forge World step up their game when it comes to the models for Lord of the Rings as well over the last couple of months or so. I've seen like a real improvement in the detail and also the painting of the models that we see on their website as well, which is really nice. Not to say that I could ever get to the lot of many of the people that paint for these studios and stuff, but it's been really cool to see them adding a little bit more pizzazz onto the different models there as well. They also showed off some of the cool orc models they're going to be putting into the range as well there. So you might recognize that guy with the skull on his head from when Aragorn and the three hunters themselves jump off the boat at Pelennor Field as well. So there's some really cool stuff coming out for Middle Earth and Lord of the Rings in general. So hopefully we're going to see this going from strength to strength over the next couple of months towards the end of the year and into 2019 as well. I do believe they're going to be doing some really cool stuff based around the idea of the battles. So we're going to have some stuff around the Siege of Osgiliath and also the Battle of Pelennor Field as well. So keep an eye out for that. It's going to be cool.
Yeah,
so,
that's wonderful. I absolutely love how much they're bringing stuff back to Middle Earth with this. Yeah, as I've said on previous weekenders, I've recently gotten into Lord of the Rings. So seeing it start to get this support is really encouraging.
It's one of those games that it had that core of fans who were just starved for ages and ages, and now that you went from famine to feast, and they're just eating it up. They're loving it.
It does need more hobbits, though. This is a fact. It needs more hobbits.
I'm not even starting that argument.
You should jump into the Hobbit group on Facebook and make your feelings known to Adam Toke and see what he says. So maybe he'll get some more Hobbits sculpted for you.
You know me, I love my Hobbits. I love my Hobbits. I was very excited that the Sheriffs recently got restocked. They're up for pre-order at the moment. That's Hobbits with big sticks.
Yeah. Oh, I will also point out in some additional sort of Lord of the Ringsy, Middle Earthy news, it was announced that the Amazon TV series that they're working on is reportedly going to focus around young Aragorn. So if you're interested in that kind of storyline and seeing where that develops, they did talk about it a little bit, I believe, in Two Towers. I think it was when he was riding as Thengel, who was like an old Thane that used to ride alongside Theoden and stuff when he was in battle and things. So keep an eye out for what's happening with that, because it could be kind of cool. So,
cool.
Can anyone replace Viggo Mortensen though? Who knows? So,
you see, if it depends on how young they make Aragorn in the TV.
We're going to do baby Aragorn.
That's how far we're going back to for this.
No, you know what I mean.
It's not teenage Aragorn.
In the books and in the movies, how old is he meant to be? Late 30s.
No, in the books he's supposed to be about 50 or so.
Yeah, so I mean,
older actually.
Well, I mean, if you look at him from, say, this TV series looks at him when he's, say, in his 20s, early 30s, you can get away with making the actor look quite different.
Yeah, it's going to be very cool, I think. So, yeah.
I hate the way my mind works, because my mind, the way when Ben just talked about baby Aragorn, my mind just, you remember Muppets babies?
Yeah.
Lord of the Rings babies. That's where my mind just went.
Unnecessary. Why?
Little hairy Gimli baby.
No, stop it, Ben. Stop it. I mean,
I want to see this now. Get me in touch with Amazon.
I just have images of swaddling Klaus with a beard poking out.
That's how you came to be.
No, excuse me. I was born bald, and then got hair, then lost hair.
It's a vicious cycle.
It's horrible. I've been waiting for the next cycle to kick in, but I don't think it's going to happen. I don't think that's how the body works.
If you believe, Justin, if you believe. Right, from the distant past of Middle Earth, let's go to a galaxy far, far away for the next news. Ben, what's happening?
Yeah. So this was some news out of Fantasy Flight Games at the end of last week, and this was the announcement that we're going to be seeing 2 more expansions coming up for Star Wars Legion, which should make some people very, very happy indeed. We're going to be seeing the first operative model, which will be working for the Galactic Empire, and that is Boba Fett himself. So the operatives, I believe, are going to be a set of sort of characters that you can use for either force. I believe you can have 2 of them in each force. Someone might correct me. And they are going to be adding into your force as an additional character that you can use on the tabletop. And there's also going to be the specialists for the Galactic Empire as well, which is the Scout Trooper box. Now, we saw the Rebel Commandos come out, and they were very cool. They're all based around snipers and sort of dealing with objectives. And now we've got the equivalent of that on the Galactic Empire side with the Scout Troopers as well, which is going to be very, very cool indeed. I've no doubt that we're going to be seeing some more preview articles about this coming out from Fantasy Flight Games over the next couple of weeks as well, so watch out for those. We'll definitely be highlighting them, and hopefully when they come out, we'll be unboxing them too, which would be very, very cool indeed. Of course, we did the Snow Troopers and General Veers this week, which was nice. But yeah, it's really cool. I'm interested to see what the Rebel operative is going to be. I'd imagine it's probably going to be something like Chewbacca, maybe, or Lando Calrissian. That could be kind of cool. So we'll see how that comes together. It'd be cool. Yeah.
I just want Yoda to lead my forces. I'm going to be honest here. I want Yoda.
Look to the Clone Wars. The Clone Wars with General Yoda. That's going to be cool.
Yeah. I'm looking forward to seeing more Jedi. I will admit that.
Well, it's something I've noticed with the now having had a look at Veers and having had a look at Leia. They're very, very similar in their build-ups.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not sure how to put this. The commander is going to be the heart of the force for this game. I'm just hoping they change it enough that it's going to feel different enough. I mean, like, Leia sounds as if she's going to be absolutely amazing on the tabletop. Passing out dodge tokens to Rebel troopers is great. And I mean absolutely great. I also have an apology to send out there. Whenever we unboxed the Snow Troopers, we did not notice the thing that made them special. After a move action, they get a free shoot action. I apologise. So that actually does make them really, really good.
Yeah. I knew that was... I remember when they first came to be released, the whole point was that they're slower, but they just fire as they go.
Yeah, although looking at the Scout Troopers here, they look very interesting just from what we can see of their card. So they've dropped the usual red defense dice that troopers get for a white. Their surge is going to give them a defense, and then there's a couple of abilities in there that it's just a little bit too blurry. I can't read them. Fantasy Flight, why do you do this to me?
This is why.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Of course, lots of people are going to be happy to see Boba Fett.
Yeah, Boba looks actually pretty badass on paper here. Because if you look, he's got a move of 3. He's got Arsenal 2 that's going to let him fire both his ranged weapons. He's pretty damn tough, and any surge is going to give him something good. So he's going to be hanging around for ages.
And the model for Boba Fett looks amazing as well.
Yeah,
I really like what they've done with the model for that guy. So
definitely.
The model is superb. However, I am going to say something here that I think is going to generate a lot of hate right now. I don't think Boba Fett's that amazing a character.
To be fair, he doesn't
actually
get that much screen
those of you
time,
out there who have been silly have just thrown a rotten tomato and hit your PC screen.
Yeah, he's just overhyped, but I do love seeing him in the game. I think he's going to be ridiculously badass on the tabletop.
Yeah. Now, the other thing to remember is we do have the next Star Wars movie coming out very soon, Solo. So keep your eyes peeled for things in that you might want to see on the tabletop.
Yeah, that'll be interesting to hear what people want to see from the new movies into the game. Yeah.
I mean, like seeing the Falcon before Han Solo ran it into the ground, it is quite a pretty ship. It is quite a pretty ship.
Well, now we've got finished with the galaxy far, far away. Let's go back to Warhammer Fantasy. Age of Sigmar. Back to Sigmar.
What's happening?
Yeah, so we're going to go back to the Age of Sigmar, and this is via PlayFusion. Now, obviously, they're working on the game called Age of Sigmar Champions, which is kind of a little bit mechanically similar to what we saw with Lightseekers, but obviously they're taking it a little bit new direction when it comes to this game here, set in the Mortal Realms.
Yeah.
So this is a card game that will be played by 2 players. The 2 decks that we've seen so far are the campaign decks for both Order and Death, which match up quite nicely with what we're seeing for Age of Sigmar 2nd Edition. From what we've heard so far and people in the comments as well, what you're kind of going to be looking at is 4 heroes per deck, and you're going to be going around and attacking your enemies and trying to reduce their health bar down to 0, which is kind of cool and kind of standard for all these kind of games as well. But yeah, that questing mechanic and how that works, as well as obviously the rotating card, which is something that a lot of people will be familiar with from Lightseekers, is going to cool mechanic to see come to life. Apparently, a lot of people on social media really enjoyed playing the game when they were at Warhammer Fest last weekend. So if you're interested in that, you like Lightseekers, maybe wait and see what happens with Age of Sigmar Champions in the near future. So yeah, keep an eye on that one. There is like a newsletter and stuff you can sign up to as well, which is pretty cool. So yeah. Take a look.
I will say the guys from PlayFusion that did Lightseekers, it's actually that collectible card game that actually got its hooks into me. Now, I've been saying for years, I hate blind buy games. I absolutely detest them. I love Lightseekers. It's so light and so fun. I don't feel like I'm so overpowered that I used to be with Magic, that cards would just get flipped at me and I would be fit to do nothing. I wouldn't know what was going on, and then I'm dead. I feel with it, I'm really engaged, and I'm hoping we're going to see the exact same thing with the new Sigmar card game from them.
Now, the thing... I'm not a huge fan of Lightseekers. I have a lot of fun with it. The game mechanic is perfect. It's just the style isn't to my liking.
For me, it fits.
Yeah.
It makes sense.
But that's why I think this Sigmar is going to draw me in, because it has the weightier feel to the setting.
Maybe.
But
maybe.
the mechanics do seem to be drawing some influence from Lightseekers,
Yeah.
which I love to see. So I think this is the game
Well, we'll
that
have to wait and
is
see.
really going to draw me in.
Well, you know what we have to do?
What?
We have to get the game in whenever it's ready for review and get a game against each other.
Definitely.
Yeah,
Of course.
yeah.
I think we may need to bring Ben in when they get dwarves.
Gimme.
And suddenly we've lost Ben. His brain is going to be in dwarf mode for the rest of the show. Ben, how are you feeling, dwarves? Ben, what do you think of this thing, dwarves?
It's better than Infectus.
Yeah, in fact, that was really
Yeah, he's
weird
gone
last
now. He's gone.
Yeah.
Is he gone? Did he just have that final puff of bile of smoke going, I shall return?
Yeah, he'll be back like any good comic villain, I'm sure. So yeah.
His weakness is penicillin. Wonderful.
No,
Okay.
medication, my only weakness. How did you know?
Well, before we move on, we've got one last piece of news.
Mm-hmm.
And this, I believe, is for Gates of Antares.
Ooh.
Yeah, always nice to see something new from this.
Yeah, so this was the release from Warlord Games. This is both a set of pre-orders and also some new releases for their game. So this is a move forward in the narrative. They've pushed on into what's called the Drone Scourge, and this is a new supplement that comes out, which introduces an entirely new army called the Virai into the world of Beyond the Gates of Antares. Now these are a race creatures that have sort of organic components to them as well, tied into an army that is very much on the warpath. It's out there to try and consume everything in the galaxy and turn it into its own form, which is very, very cool indeed. And obviously provides you with an interesting threat, because all these kind of characters and factions that were potentially villains to begin with and you know, clashing against each other are now having to focus on this new threat in the galaxy. So there is an entirely new army coming out for this collection for you to go and have a look at, which is looking very, very cool indeed. It's been really nice seeing the aesthetic for the world come together for Gates of Antares, and I believe that this new faction really shows another step forward in the production of some of the miniatures we're seeing for this as well, which is really cool. And it provides you with something interesting new on the painting side of things as well, which is really nice. As well as that, of course, you're going to need some kind of things that will help you defeat the Virai as well. And so that's where we've got some new Algorand things. So we've got the new heavy skimmer that is coming in, and then there's also a new artillery piece as well that's up for grabs right now, I believe, as well, which is really cool.
Ben, I just need a second here. I need a second. This is perfect. I love it. I'm in my happy place right now. I love the Algorand design. This has just made me so happy right now. This looks so sexy. I love it.
I think he likes it.
It's so sexy.
And then artillery piece. Ooh, very nice. Very, very, very nice.
That's a very interesting design. It has a good alien look to it. Yeah.
They're human.
Oh, really?
Antares, everybody is human. They're just different evolutionary offshoots of humanity.
I see. Now, that's something I like to see a lot, because so often when you see a sci-fi heavy weapons platform, it's a gun. It's a big gun.
Yeah.
That's it. That looks different. It looks like a sci-fi weapon that is far beyond my understanding.
You imagine it's going to fire a big ball of plasma into there that's going to fall to the earth.
Yeah. That is a brilliant design.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this also leads us on to two of the new character sets that are up for pre-order right now as well, and that is Jai Gallius, I believe that's how you pronounce her name, who I think it's I'm going to say Concord? Yes, Concord.
Yes.
It's the Concord. Don't worry, I didn't just need to reboot them for a second. It's fine. And then the other one as well really caught my eye was Tara Kalamon, who is another one of the characters that's fighting for the Freeborn, who are kind of the race that I think is the coolest. I really like their kind of like high, sort of almost piratical to their faction. It's very, very cool indeed. So yes, some new character sets that are also coming out for you to go and pick up as well. So the Beyond the Gates of Antares universe is steadily growing. It's getting bigger and bigger, and it's going to be very, very cool to see where this goes next. It's always nice to see games that push forward the narrative and promote you diving into the story and learning how things have progressed as you go along as well, which is really cool. So yeah.
Now, with you saying that everything in Gates of Antares is human...
Well, almost.
Yeah.
The Gar and the new faction are not.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. that makes the introduction of this new faction have even more of an impact.
Yes.
Yeah. Although that does make me wonder, what if they are human? What if you mentioned how they convert?
I'm quite sure they're not. If I remember correctly, this is me trying to remember what I've spoken to Rich about in the past. I think we've had interviews in the past where we've maybe mentioned them, or I've maybe chatted to him while we were out for dinner. If I remember right, these guys were an insectile race with a hive mind. Unfortunately, humanity screwed them up whenever I think the gates closed. And I think that actually changed their evolutionary direction to actually force them to incorporate technology. I'm not 100% on this. I could be completely wrong talking out my ass.
Now, again, I'm just speculating. The thing that got me on that was when Ben said that they go and consume other places and beings and bring them into themselves.
Yes.
So some of them could be using human organic matter.
Yeah, but if that organic matter is converted to their own form of organic matter...
Exactly. It just makes it even more horrifying.
Yeah.
It's a glorious idea. I'd love to find out more about them. Yeah. Now, we have quite a cool little feature for everyone today.
Yes.
You got to sit down with Roberto and chat Wild West Exodus.
Yes, talking about his design ethos. He is the man behind the scenes who's keeping the style, the feel, and the flavour of the game together. So we'll take a quick hub break and be right back.
The new Flames of War 4th edition brings you the battles of World War II in epic 15mm scale. Go to beastsofwar.com to get the latest in news, tactics and tutorials. Fame and fortune awaits in Blood and Plunder. Set sail in the golden age of piracy and claim the riches of the Caribbean at beastsofwar.com.
Okay, everybody, I am back with Roberto. Roberto, hi. You are working for Wild West Exodus and the guys over at Warcradle. So
I am indeed.
This is your first time ever on the Weekender, so doing the art director work for Wild West Exodus and the entire dystopian age, you kind of have your finger in all the pies as to design-wise, yeah?
Yes, that's one of the good things. It's thrilling, and it's a big challenge all the times, because it's obviously it's not a case of just keeping an eye on one little pie. It's a case of keeping an eye on all the pies and making sure that they all fit together.
Yeah, and making sure none have a burnt crust.
Exactly. Yes.
All right. Well, you yourself, this is something that happens in the industry a lot. Is that we don't really get to see the faces behind the actual work that's done on a lot of stuff. So, is there anything people would really recognize your work from in the past before working for Warcradle?
Yeah, possibly.
Possibly?
There's some potential there. Yeah. Okay. I've worked 3 years at the studio, Nottingham studio, for Games Workshop. Working on I believe it was the 5th edition of the Tyranids, with some conjoined work with Jess Goodwin as well on the Hive Tyrant and all that. The first Broodfather, I'm pretty sure was.
You did the art for it, yeah?
Yeah, I did the art for it, yes. I mean, obviously, you've got to always consider it's never one single guy doing it. As you said, there is many faces behind the one single product. So I will take only credits for part of that fun. I don't want to upset anybody, honestly. So,
see, this is what I love doing, is getting the people behind the scenes on camera and actually introducing them to the world.
Yeah.
So you've done Tyranid work, and I'm kind of happy Warren's not here, because he might just give you a cuddle right now. He loves that artwork.
That would be nice. Okay. Well, at the time, 4th edition, the Tau, the new stealth suit. I think that which is still being produced now. That was mine as well.
Gorgeous work.
The infamous Vespids. Yes, I know they've been sort of like up and down, but and bigger stuff as well.
Yeah. And after Games Workshop?
After Games Workshop, I embraced a 10-year freelance career, which that was a great time, because I've really, talking of having my hands on different pies, I've worked for a number of companies on a huge number of products. Just to mention one, Private Press, lots of work I've done for them.
What would be your favourite one you did for them?
Well, they were all really interesting, really cool. The favourite ones were the big guys.
Oh, the big guys.
The For example, the Mountain King.
Oh yes, the
that
first
was-
time I saw that, I was drooling.
It was fun.
gorgeous.
It was fun. I mean, it's the guys private as well. They made it really exciting process.
Uh-huh.
And one of the latest guys I did was the Sea King, and more other machines and stuff like that. It was very exciting stuff.
Yeah, well, I mean, like, I have to say, now knowing your pedigree of what you've drawn in the past and what you've done artwork-wise, I'm impressed. I'm going to say it now. I'm a fan.
Thank you, thank you.
Now, you are now
I'm
working...
flattered.
Oh,
Absolutely.
please, you have talent. Right, you are now working for Warcradle.
Yep.
And turning your attention to the dystopian age. So, you've given me some artwork, some concept stuff, some colored artwork. So, do you want to maybe jump into it and actually talk through some of your design philosophies and ideas?
Yeah. We'll do some of that.
Okay, cool. Well, the first thing we have here is the Alliance Malinos?
Malinois, and if my French does not betray me now.
My accent,
I don't
no go.
I gotta admit, I don't come up with names. I only come up with the art, with the visuals. So
yeah. So who is this for?
well, I believe this to be for the Latin Alliance guys. Let's call them guys. That's. I mean, this is there's not one simple way of jumping into a project when you do concept art, because I mean, in this case, for example, for the dystopian worlds, I mean, this is for Armored Clash, obviously, but it embraces some of the designs of that. I mean, you might have seen these guys really tiny for the dystopian worlds on the little tokens. So we. It was not like a complete 100% fresh start, so we did have some bases to start from. So you adopt a slightly different approach to the design. So as opposed to when you do something completely new, like a lot of stuff I have worked and I've done for Wild West Exodus.
Yes.
It's a different type of way of doing things in that respect. I mean, in both cases you receive a sort of like initial brief. Like, what's the big idea? Where do we want to go? Yeah. So you get that briefed in textually or verbally. We have conversations, and from there some of the first elements starts getting visualized in my head and starts to get defined, so that we are on the same page. So I don't end up doing like I don't know, and weird flying monsters instead of having jet fighters and stuff like that. So
well, this one in particular, I'm seeing sort of, I don't know if I'm right or wrong, but there feels to be like a little bit of a 1950s vibe going with this, just for some of the designs. It feels a little bit architectural from that era.
Yeah. There is that. I mean, there is when you work on something like that, you do. I do, and I have to do a bit of history research. That ranges from culture, architecture, and especially if it's specific to a faction or an existing nation. It doesn't matter how fantasy you want it to be. Yeah. But then you don't take that too literally, because otherwise you end up just making a Frankenstein of a drawing, and it doesn't make any sense. Yes. You have to let your own instincts as an artist flow through what you put on the paper. And in fact, I mean, that's the Cometa. One of my favorite.
Very beautiful design, and I'm kind of seeing. This feels a little bit more Soviet to me. The
vibe, it's obviously, there's a bit of a MiG in there. The old MiG-15, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, well, I mean, like, I'm looking at it, I'm getting vibes of MiG, but the helicopter they have as well? Just with that sort of Hind, bubble sort of feel to it?
Yeah. It's like the double...
The Hind, yeah.
The Hind, yeah.
So I'm getting a little bit of that from it as well. So you're drawing on those sort of hooks that you would have for cultures.
Exactly. But you see, you rearrange the elements not only to try to create something relatively new, but also you have to make sure that they all fit well together. It's like making a cake. If some of the ingredients that just don't work together, then it just doesn't work. Doesn't taste good. You're just gonna throw it away. So it's the same thing with this.
Yeah.
The Defiant. Yeah. It's actually got a bit of the good old British Defiant in it, as you can
Yeah.
see. I mean, the turret and
Yeah. You've got the very classical wing shape that you would see on old British aircraft.
yeah, and I needed to put the little bit of that Spitfire feel to it. I'm sure that once you get we will get to the sculpt stage, you will appreciate that even more.
Well, I mean, like, I'm seeing a very, very cool piece of the design that I don't know if it's something that an aircraft builder would use, but I look at it and I think that just looks cool. So instead of mounting the weapons within the main wing, you have sort of an underwing coming out.
We had other, it's one of the things. It's we obviously we wanted to make it easier to distinguish the different.
Yes.
I mean, they're going to be fairly big anyway, so
Yeah.
that's going to be really. But most of them they have the single wing plane thing. So we sort of tried to introduce a biplane. It's more of a support wing that really doesn't really generate any lifts. But it's just to host the landing gear and the extra forward weapons. But it's a different way of introducing that into the mix. So
but it feels as if the actual designer within the world, I can imagine someone has went to this in the dystopian world and thought, right, I need to design a new plane for the Air Force. I don't want to leave the biplane look behind. This is structurally sound. It works for me. And I can see the design process that would actually make this an actual machine, which is something that's very, very cool to be able to do whenever you're doing something that's fantasy, but with that real world kick to it as well. Right. What else do we have here? Okay. Wow.
This is very cool, very interesting. Design. Again, there are some of the elements that are taken from the existing little aircraft that you find in dystopian worlds.
Yes.
And we just extrapolated some of them and adding detail, and some worked out some of the what we thought to be interesting elements. I say we, by the way, because I mean I'm mostly obviously the main guy drawing stuff and everything, but there's always like conversations going on and some side input, some side say, that kind of stuff. So that's why I say we. But it's just
Well, how many iterations of a design would you go through before you would get to this stage?
I was going to mention that earlier, but thanks for bringing that up, because what you see it's sort of like virtually the final stage, and I'll explain to you why it's virtually the final stage. But I usually go through anything between 3 to 6 or more. The reason being is that you may have a clear idea of where you want to get to, but once you start talking about it, or you start putting ideas down on the paper, you start going like, wouldn't that be nice? And wouldn't that be nice? Hang on a minute. And you start ending up with so many different ideas. They're all pertinent and they're all viable, but you can't simply stick them all in one airplane or in one subject, because it would be like so big. There you go. That's one big Frankenstein. So you have to split them and you have to work them out which group goes better with which main idea. So you end up, I usually do like 3 to 4 initial sketches. Obviously depending on how complex the subject is. And then from there we just look at the distance and say, that's working, that's not, but wouldn't that be nice if actually that part went with that? And there's that process. There's a bit of feedback from other people from the studio as well, or the people that are pertinent to the process, and then I rework that out. And again, using that instinct, that flow to make the whole thing properly merged together, and then you come up with a final. This is also one of my favorites.
Those forward swept wings. You've taken what I consider a very classical look to a plane, but you've made it very predatory with that.
Excellent.
That's exactly the feeling, the vibe I get.
It's got some autocannons and it's got that BF kind of cockpit look on the top. And
I was going to say, did you start with a Messerschmitt with this one?
Essentially that side there. It is one of them. We obviously got rid of all the propellers and stuff like that. They're all mostly jet engines or hard fuel, solid fuel sort of reaction engines, that kind of stuff.
Now there's something that I wonder about. Now I have more than a few friends who love to do art projects and love to work on art projects, but for them it's a hobby. to actually take something that is so creative and actually turn it into a job. Did you, whenever you were first starting out, find it an incredible challenge to actually make that leap between I'm doing this because I love it to I'm doing this because I get paid for it and I love it?
I know it might sound a cliche. The pays, obviously. I mean, we all need to.
Oh yes.
To make a living, and obviously some are more lucky than others. And I'm very, very, very lucky. I've been 25 years working in this industry. The first 12 years were like in video game developments.
Really?
Oh yeah, core design. Same guys that did the Tomb Raider, but I didn't have anything to do with it. I was one of the teams. I was the team leader in terms of like arts and I know all that regarded the part of the game design, and so I've actually got best of both worlds almost, like the video game and the tabletop gaming. So the physical and the virtual. Yeah. So it's. Again, I've been very lucky to have had the chance to obviously prove myself, and I have been very lucky to have always worked for, and like now especially with people that have appreciated the input that I can give. As I'm sure there is a lot of people out there that have the same, the same will of wanting to create something, and that's something that has always been in my head. I was little and I started drawing robots and stuff, and and in a way that in my head they would work. So for me it was never a question of sounds cliche, if it was a question of when, because that's what I wanted to do. Create things.
Wow, just seeing the top down profiles on all of these, you really do get that sense of what you were talking about. Those main hooks from like each nation that we're seeing on the page here, you get that sense of there being a completely different design ethos behind
your individuality, you got diversity, and like you can tell they're part of the same universe. Right. So only like you've got that heavier feel than what you normally get for aircraft, but you still got the hooks in there and still that national identity, which is something that I'm incredibly impressed by anyone who can actually do that on paper. Thank you.
Now, let's move on to some other stuff, because I know you haven't just done aircraft, you've also been working on some of the ships for Dystopian Wars.
It's been very, very exciting to work full ahead on this stuff. This is the I call it the expression, but the Imperium Elector now.
Yeah, this looks really interesting. It looks as if it's got the ability to link up to train tracks and take trains on board.
It's got. We've taken some of the as I was talking about the process. This is we obviously had a good solid starting point, because some of the designs that were already there laid out for us. There's some great designs.
Yeah, I mean,
I'll admit that.
I've played Dystopian Wars. I love it. I mean, like, that's another thing you were talking about, was taking a design that already exists and actually moving it forward and actually making it cohesive with other ranges.
Exactly. It's not the same as I was saying before. It's starting from something from scratch. It's actually a little bit more challenging, because again, you're taking something that exists and you want to retain all the cool stuff, the cool key elements, and you're trying to make something different and better. And when you get some of the designs which are actually quite cool already, how do you do that? And that's why you're really exploring new directions, new ideas, and throwing new elements. And sometimes it doesn't work immediately, but any design that gets discarded for whatever reason, not because it doesn't work, it's just not quite where you want to go. It's a bonus anyway, because it's something that you have taken out of the equation, and then you got only a few more elements left to go through. So if you're lucky enough to, luck is a good thing anyway. Experience, luck, skills, and time, and all that. But again, it's a team effort. So this one, I love this one in particular, because there is, as you were saying, this the rail system. That gave us the chance to make them different, give them a different feel from the rest of the other fleets, other factions, which have a rigid body. And it's a fixed type of armament. I mean, once you put a turret, that's what it is. These, they have the same hull, same, but you can repurpose it. You can give it right. So it will dock to somewhere and where they have their facilities ready, and they can swap module, they can swap weapons.
So that's what they are.
And
That's actually incredibly clever. I love that idea.
I'll again. I mean, I'll take part of the credits on that. I don't want to upset anybody.
Fair enough.
That has,
Sorry,
that's okay.
Jump back.
That's okay. No, I just wanted to just underline the fact that we've used the is it the scissor mechanism?
Yes.
So basically, the whole bridge moves up, and to allow larger class weapons to rail in, and then it'll lower it down, and the weapons use the same system as well, so that they like I don't want to say Transformers, but
it's a modular weapons platform done in an incredibly different way.
I love that.
Yeah,
the concept.
I mean, like normally whenever I think modular weapon system, I think lift a turret out, put a turret in, but that actually, in a really weird way, the design makes sense to me, which is, I know it's crazy, but the idea of rolling a weapon system out, rolling a fresh one in, I mean, like, say you have something break down, just roll that one out, put a fresh one in, we're ready to roll.
Yeah.
Really clever idea.
The situation may change in that area, and then they may need heavier support than the single one. So again, that railway system was on one of the latest designs, and I just built on that and included some of the elements. So, but it was good fun. It was really good fun. I mean, some of the designs are really, really clever.
Yeah. Next up, who is this?
Good old Oriflamme. It's the Alliance French. This one in this case, battleship. Yes.
And again, I'm seeing lots of French architectural sort of design influences here. Very ornate, very Parisian, but still just with that deadliness to it, that heaviness that the dystopian universe seems to be running with. So it's in the aircraft, it's in the miniatures, it's in the ships. It's really, really doing it for me. And then seeing the weapon designs, oh my god, the weapon designs.
I've done like you only see 3, but I've done for each faction. Not all of them. I still have some of them to go through. But you're talking like possibly like a 20-25 different weapons, and then
for each.
Whoa. And then you can choose, because it's like. Most times they're known is when you start working on something, you got something in mind, and while you're working on it, and you keep on coming up with new ideas, that sparks. It's just like a chain reaction. So from one idea, you're like, oh, I'm gonna do that, I could do that, but you can't fit that into what you're working at the moment. So it has to wait for the next iteration, and then and so on. So you end up with lots of different options, variants.
Now, there's an interesting question for you. Do you work traditionally with pen and paper, or do you use something like a Wacom to actually do digital drawing?
No, I do work traditionally, and I will tell you why. I mean, I do some digital work, absolutely. I do a lot of editing as well. I mean, after that, I do the pencil work. But I'm afraid I like the absolute direct feedback that I get when I place the pencil on the paper.
I see.
Which is something that you can't quite get digitally or electronically. I do color work or editing, digital. That you got to do that. Yeah, because there will be scanned in some of the last fixes that happen digitally. But when I work on sketches or on ideas, I'll just love the use of quick markering, which you ghost the shape out, and then you start retracing with a pencil, and I feel more. The process is more natural.
Yeah, you see, I get the exact same thing sometimes with reading. So my friends always say to me, Justin, just get yourself a Kindle. You can store so many books on it. But no, I like the feel, the texture, even the smell of a book. Yeah. It feels right.
Or the fresh print. Yeah, I love that. I love that. Yeah. It's a fair comparison. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. Tesla bot.
They look cool. They look nice. This is supposed to be like an advanced version of the automatons that they have throughout the Wild
The
West.
inspiration for something like this has to be completely different, though, to doing an aircraft or, say, a vessel, because this is something we don't actually physically have within the world. So where do you draw on to begin with something quite so fantasy and out there?
It's trying to define the initial guideline, and that's usually determined from what the game needs, obviously, because we don't just you can't just drop things into the game. It's like So if the game needs a certain new characters, or and the story develops, or the background is developing, so we need to accommodate that. But in terms of style and design, it's for example, what is it for? Who is it for? And what kind of technology are they using, and how are they using that technology? And the rest is just a case of just putting down different combinations and again, I do follow my instinct a lot. You can't just put a math rule on how to do it. As for every type of art, it comes from within yourself. So there is a lot of it in there, and I gotta say, 99.99% of the times it works out for me. So I'll keep using that. You know. So I do research before, especially before and sometimes during. If this is for certain subjects, depending from the subject, obviously. For Wild West Exodus especially,
I'm guessing you have to have an engineering hat on.
I try to absorb as much old industrial feel as I can. I look a lot of even photographs of old industries, abandoned in industrial sites, which you find a lot of stuff that really gets close to their times, their technology, and looking at pictures of the real things, so to speak, it gives you part of that. It charges you up and puts you down. It's the same thing as for any good actors. To get into their role, they train themselves. They do research. So how, depending from their role, obviously, and doing concept art is the same thing. It's you can't just. I mean, I could, but you wouldn't have the same result. You know, if you were to just jump in and draw whatever.
Well, it does throw. It does feel as if you throw a lot of yourself into this kind of work.
As every other good artist, you do that. As I said, it comes after so many years of experience. It just comes as a second nature thing. You throw everything into the mix. What you learn, what you know, what you have done in the past, what you've been told, and then just suddenly, I'm not too good at and remembering names or sentences but visually. That's I'm all visuals. In fact, I can't believe I'm talking too much. I normally draw. I don't really talk too much, so not much. But somebody stop me.
I'm going to send you home, and Stu's going to go. Justin, what did you do to my artist? He's talking all day. He's not drawing. Something's wrong.
What did you have him drink or something? I don't know. Just water.
All right, now the concept sketches are always a great way to get an initial feel for a piece that you're working on. For me, it's always whenever the color starts to go down on a piece that you really start to get the presence of what you're trying to actually get across. And you gave me a few of these as well. So if we jump through a couple of them,
these are illustrations made by one of the artists. We are.
All right, so they're okay.
Okay, they're off the my concept. They're not. It's not my work.
Okay.
I have
apologies.
No, it's okay. But it's again it's. I do some of it, but not these particular ones. Again, I mean, I do go through the process. As I was saying, I mean, I'm not just the concept artist. I do have the role of a studio art director. So I go from the initial stage to the very last part until the physical miniature character is produced. The subject is produced. And it's as this as well happens. I have to make sure that portrays. I mean, in this case, colors and we do give quite a bit of freedom, and then we only fix things if we really need to go back on that. But in this case, it's done.
Well, I mean, like looking at this one, I mean, like the instant vibe I get from it. If this was a plain sketch, I would be thinking very aristocratic, very much high society, but I wouldn't know. Is he good? Is he evil?
Okay,
because it's a choice of color palette for this. I'm seeing a little bit of darkness, a little bit of smugness in the face.
Cunning is yes.
So I'm getting the feeling he's maybe a bit of a sharpster, maybe on the darker side of things a little bit.
Yeah. He's older, as you're saying. Yeah, you're getting everything right. So I'm sure you would get that even if it was just the black and white concept, because it all starts from there. The idea was to to portray those feelings, those things. He's a political sort of involved person. I mean, probably Stuart will be more
For the background.
for the background. Is I'm a visual person. I get all the information that I need, and I'll transform that into.
But to be able to look at something and be able to express the emotion or the actual feeling or the story of that character without having to use a single word, that is something that always it catches me. I mean, like whenever I look at some of the actual work that's down here, I'll pick a couple of random ones. So
let's just
so if we pick this one, I mean, like I'm getting a sense of, you know, he's very noble, very very into his honor and pride. You know, but he's also ready to shoot you with a magical eagle arrow.
I mean, that was the that was essentially the idea. It's it's all that and possibly more. You look at his face, his look as well. It can be both things, but obviously, probably he's heavy. The dark side of his experiences is putting them into a good use. Right.
Yeah.
So he needs to look nasty, but he's on the good side. So he's not completely. He doesn't have any evil look. He just have like a seasoned somebody who's seen a lot and is using that for. But if he's almost smiling, it's not smiling, but he's got that
there's
sort of like
determination there.
Yeah,
is what I'm saying. Now, whenever it comes to let's pick. Okay, this is one of my favorites. I'm going to say it now, just because of who it is. This drawing in particular, you just have that bright cheerfulness in a dark and grimy world.
Yeah. I mean, the pose and the expression says it all. And to be honest with you, this is one of the things. Like when I was handed over the brief, there were those elements. You know, just needs to be young and can I say sassy? You know, that sort of like bubbly. You know, she's that kind of girl, that kind of character. You know, but obviously, she knows her stuff.
But it's that smell of I'm having a great time, but I'm still going to lump you in the head if you come over here.
I'll dismantle you in a couple of seconds. Even if you're not a robot or an automaton, she'll still dismantle you with that big wrench. So.
Now if you really want to go for something that's on the darker side of things, you would have this big guy. And the facial expression on this one alone instantly describes there is feral insanity to this character, just that bestial rage. He enjoys to be so. He doesn't care that he's got all that hair on or that you know those really nasty teeth. It's who he is. He enjoys that. Well, I mean, like, you can instantly tell there's a joy in combat for this character, and translating that out from initial brief to final miniature, because I've seen the final miniature for this one. It translates across so well. And I mean, like, I'm sure whenever it comes down to it, you're sitting there and you're always having to think to yourself, does it fit? Does it express what we're aiming at here?
Absolutely. I mean, there's a huge leap between, conceptualizing on a 2D piece of paper, all these, because they all look nice and everything, but then going into sculpting, you know, you got to have some magic there. And you know, as I mentioned, we got Matt and Brandon, and brilliant job they're doing, sculpting and translating all of this. You need a good eye to interpret all that. It's not been seen either. Into and transform that into a virtual sculpture, virtual physical. That's where you start looking at things and realizing, has all that process really worked, or there might be something that may need to be changed. So there is some level of on the fly adjustments. Also because once you start to posing them, because there's the sculpture, then you have to pose them, and that's where the real magic starts to happen, because they starting to come to life, and we look at the screen and I turn it around, it's like wow, okay, that's really cool. again, and I'm heavily involved in that process. If they probably hated me sometimes when I asked them to change the position of of the leg or the arm, but I got to make sure that, I mean, they hate me, but we are in very, very good relationship. It was just to say, but because it's all to go towards the same goal, which is to produce some really, really cool miniatures at the end.
Well, the goal for you at the end of the day is you want your end user, your customer, your gamer to pick that up and go, yeah, I get it. I get what they were going for with that, and I'm sure that's the goal of any artist.
Yeah, absolutely. There cannot be ambiguities. It's got the final miniature, the final character, or even a vehicle. Which I've done all of them for the Wild West Expo as well. They have to convey a feel, even if it's just a mechanical thing. They still means something within that universe, because you're still putting some of those elements and transferring them into an object.
Yeah, well, it's something that has to basically convey it from every single angle the person looks at it. They have to see and know that if they look at it from the front side, from that where that 2D was, yeah, I'll definitely get it from that angle. But if I'm standing, most gamers are standing up and behind their miniatures. So you have to be able to look at it from that angle as well, that top-down view. That's what I understand what they're after.
Yeah. That's my constant reverberation when I'm in the studio. So I keep that in mind, because the sculpt is nice, the pose is nice, but turn it around, and you have to make sure that, as you were saying, from absolutely every single angle, that needs to look right, and it needs to not just look in terms of technically speaking, it needs to convey the same feeling, no matter from which angle you look at. So we are in the process of also updating some of the original.
That makes me happy.
Older, that makes me happy as well.
Well, you see, I love it when a company's not scared to go back and revisit something that already exists, because they know they can make it better.
Absolutely. It's part of that evolution process in creating something new, but also you want to look at the older previous models and see what can we do with those. Can they be made better?
Yeah.
And it's actually a very complex process. When you look at the final miniature and you go wow or not wow, generally speaking, but in either cases you have you couldn't possibly, it's not your fault, it's not the player's fault, you couldn't possibly know the amount of hours, the manpower, the brain power, the experience that goes behind making one single little guy like that. It's if I was to tell you, you'd go like, it's like, I can't believe that.
Yeah, well, I mean, I actually had my first experience of this on the first trip away I took with the guys here at Beasts. So while we were away, we stopped in Cerberus in Liverpool. And we actually got the opportunity to spin cast up some figures for War Machine. And fine, we gave it a go. I completely messed mine up. But afterwards, they were actually taking us through the process of from the bar of metal to the miniature packed in the blister. And even seeing that one side of it, I had no idea how many people had their hands and their minds and their hearts being put into that one miniature for me. So it's something absolutely incredible, and it's something I love about the passion and the drive that people from this industry have.
There has to be, because there's a lot of expectations as well. I mean, from both sides, from the developers and from the players. Because we are well aware that these things are not given out for free.
Yeah.
So you have to respect that. And there are many other elements. I mean, one of the many, what I keep saying, is that the tabletop game generally needs to be cinematic. Otherwise it's static. I mean, it all happens in the players' heads, and you have to give them a reason to stimulate their imagination. Now, if that happens, you've done an excellent job.
Yeah.
Because the real combat, the real war happens in the player's head. Because the miniatures don't do anything; they just stay there. They just look pretty. But it's how far you can manage to take their imagination and get them involved into that experience. Obviously, there's the game mechanics, and when all of that comes together, then you've got a good game.
Yeah. Well, it's one of the greatest benefits I've actually seen for the tabletop gaming hobby in general Now, you'll probably not believe this, but whenever I first started with the guys here at Beast, I was shy. I was that very classic socially awkward geek.
Yeah, I don't believe
I didn't know how to talk or interact with people, but because of actually being able to lay out games and actually tell stories, it actually sort of taught me how to be social without teaching me to be social.
Yeah. No, there's a lot. There's
incredible to have a hobby that can do that for you.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I totally agree with you. It's not just rolling some dice, and there's a lot more, and we know that. We all know at the studio. We all know that. We're all well aware. We're all players. We're all lovers of miniatures and all.
There's
this.
the key. Everybody who makes them loves them.
Yeah,
That's what comes across.
you couldn't or you wouldn't do it. I mean,
Very true.
you know. Now, obviously, you have different levels of skills and experiences, and but for example, across our studio, so you can count many years of experience if you add all us together. 25 years only me, if you consider like Stuart and the other guys at the studio.
Yeah.
We centenaries. So we know what we're doing. Most definitely.
Well, Roberto, it has been an absolute pleasure sitting and chatting to you today.
Pleasure all mine.
No,
Absolutely.
I'm hoping everybody out there has enjoyed hearing us chat and ramble about the artistic side of the hobby. It's something we don't think about enough in this hobby, and it's people like this that are the real heroes behind making the beautiful games that we love to play. So thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you. And thank
everybody.
you.
Get your comments in. We'll move on, and we'll get back to the Weekender.
A world of hideous nightmares awaits in Kingdom Death Monster. Fight to survive or fade into darkness at the Kingdom Death Hub at beastsofwar.com. Twisted aliens and demented cultists battle across the devastating science fiction world of Dark Age. Muster your forces and learn to survive at beastsofwar.com.
Every time I play Wild West Exodus, it's one of those games that hooks my heart and goes, play with me, love me, it's amazing, you're having fun, it's the Wild West. By the way, laser beams and robot dogs chewing your face off.
It's the cowboys riding around on the motorbikes that gets me.
Yeah, I like that.
Yeah, I absolutely love it.
The Lawman Outrider model is one of my favourite from the entire range just because it looks so cool. Unfortunately, I'm a Union man at heart, and I'm sticking to that party line.
Fair enough. I love the Lawman because it's got all those characters from the... My granddad was a big fan of Wild West movies.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't mean like the modern ones, like the remake of the Magnificent Seven. Right. I mean like the real old black and white. Like one of my...
Old John Wayne stuff?
Beyond. Like...
Eastwood?
Eastwood is after John Wayne.
Well, that's as far back as my knowledge goes on this.
I mean, like, My Darling Clementine, the old black and white movie.
Okay.
That I don't know if that's the original Tombstone movie or not, but that's what introduced me to Doc Holliday, Wyatt Earp, all them.
Yeah,
back in the day when they wore white hats and black hats, so you could tell who the bad guys and the good guys were.
Yeah, I will definitely have to paint my guys up like that now with white hats and black hats.
Yeah, although, see, I don't know, my favourite Western movie would have to be Tombstone, with the remake.
No, I haven't seen that.
I think Kevin Costner's in it.
Yeah, he does.
Yeah, it was a really well done take on the storyline of it. I really enjoyed watching through it.
For me,
cool.
It would have to be... Oh, that's a tough question.
Yeah,
I mean,
could be wrong
Shane
about that
is
actor,
great. My Darling Clementine, I absolutely love.
If you want something good,
the good, the bad, the ugly.
If you want something that's really great around like just end of the Civil War era, there's a fantastic three-part mini-movie series on Netflix called The Hatfields and McCoys, which is the two really famous American families that had a feud. Basically one lived on one side of the river, the other lived on the other side of the river, and it just became an absolute war between these two families. It's an incredible story, and I think it was early 2000s, the two families actually came together to sign a ceremonial peace treaty between each other, which was very cool. Very good show, definitely worth a watch if you like that era of stuff.
And you could use all that as influence in your gangs that you put together for Wild West Exodus.
Hey!
Yeah.
Ben's keeping us on track with this.
Yeah. Okay. Kickstarter time?
Kickstarter time. Ben, what's the first one you've got for us, mate?
Okay, so the first one of these that we're going to be looking at is one that was requested from last week's show, and this is Legends of Signum: Battle for Valor. And so this is a new range and skirmish war game that has been set up by Legends of Signum, and it's on Kickstarter right now. It's a bit of a different battle game. In that it's also it's not necessarily just a war game, but it's also a city builder at exactly the same time, which is kind of cool. So the main sort of focus behind this is that you'll be playing as two as major characters from two of the warring factions. So you've got the Free City of Valor and the Holy Grifferim Empire. And what you'll do when you set up to play a game is you'll choose one of the heroes that you want to play with, and then you'll set them up on the tabletop. Then from that point on, you'll start to reinforce your units onto the tabletop each turn, growing your forces as you go and playing out a skirmish on the battlefield, while also building the cities and stuff in the background that are supporting your armies in the field. So there's a deck building element to this, which is really cool. You'll be choosing what you're during a normal game term. What you'll be doing normally is you'll be drawing a set of cards. You're deciding which ones to play down to the tabletop. This will give you requisition points, which will allow you to then populate the table with some of your units and extra characters and monsters and things like that as well. And then you win by either defeating the opposing champion or getting to a high enough prosperity that your city is just a shining jewel of the empire and you no longer need to fight on the battlefield because you've secured the support of the people. So yeah, a very interesting and different take on war games, which is very, very cool indeed. And of course, the miniatures for this are looking absolutely amazing. Hopefully you've been scrolling through the Kickstarter page there, showing off some of the stuff that they've got in set for this. They've also been doing some crazy stuff when it comes to sort of add-ons and stretch goals as well, like that. You've got more heroes, you've got more units. Some of the time they're upgrading some of the components as well. So as I say, you're kind of doing the city builder thing on the side where you're playing cards onto the tabletop and using their powers and sort of building blacksmiths and barracks and those kind of things like that. They're also going to be producing plastic models to use in place of some of the cards there as well. So you've got a little bit more of a presence on the tabletop, which is really cool. But yeah, a very, very different skirmish war game that is well worth checking out because they've got some very interesting mechanics going on as well, based on card-based play as well, which is really interesting. So go and take a look at this one and see what you think. Yeah, very cool.
Well, Ben, we actually are about to make you a little jealous.
What?
Yeah, we actually have a prototype of the main core box right here.
Why does that always happen? Why do I never get to see these?
Because you're in England.
God.
It's because you're a data
Send it
entity.
to me!
Alright, so we have the main core box that we can take a look at.
Now,
here.
it should point out there aren't actually any minis in this box.
No, this is a prototype of the city builder set of things, I would assume.
Yeah.
So first thing we come to is our rules, which actually tell you how you're going to lay everything out. That's actually really nice because it's just on a big single page.
And there's the proper rulebook. There it is.
Yeah, if you want to go a little deeper. That's going to be your playmat.
Mm-hmm.
So the actual play area, they actually do a neoprene version of this on the Kickstarter at the minute, I believe, if I'm right, Ben?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
So that's it there. Oh, yeah, there.
Hey.
Nice. It's always nice whenever a company gives you the option to get that neoprene playmat, because there's something really nice and tactile about having that on the table to play on.
Neoprene does make a huge difference, I find.
Yes.
Yeah, it just feels so much better.
Yeah. Right, we then have token sets. So these are actually really well punched out because, as you can see, they're already falling out of the thing before you can get it out of the box. That's something I like to see with this kind of game for the tokens, because there's nothing I hate more than whenever you go to take a set of tokens out of its cardboard and you hear that little rip. That tiny little rip, and it's just like, no, I've ruined it!
Yeah.
So this is really good.
Again, these are all prototype components, so what we've got here may not be what you guys get there. But it's really good quality. Oh, custom dice.
Yes.
I love custom dice, so...
Really?
Yeah, I absolutely love custom dice.
Alright. They're nice. They are, again, prototype. They're stickers that are on these.
Yeah.
Now, I've actually spoke to some gamers who really don't like learning symbol dice.
I know.
And they I don't know why they absolutely hate it, because it's like learning a very small language.
Mm-hmm.
As soon as you understand the meaning of each symbol, you've learned the language, and it speeds up your play so much.
I just think it adds something to the game itself. You know, these are the dice for this game. It's just that extra level to things I kind of like. Also, I'm a collector and hoarder at heart, so...
We all are. We all are. So
give me more of these little things.
Alright, so we've got some more of the tokens and stuff in through here on smaller sheets. couple of card decks. I'm guessing these are what's going to have your character stats and your probably building areas and stuff on there. And
everything is driven through the card-based mechanics in the game, so it all ties into that. And as I say, there's that deck building element to stuff as well.
Yeah.
So while you might just play a game in one way to begin with, you'll then go into another game, changing some of the cards in your deck and drawing from them to try out different tactical options and stuff as well. So
it does look interesting. I will give it that. It looks like a very interesting game. It's not often we see that. Well, this is a true hybrid game.
Yeah,
because we're seeing that meshing of having a board game and a tabletop board game running at the exact same moment, which I find very intriguing.
Yeah, the moment you brought up those miniatures, I am dying to see more, especially because they seem to be drawing inspiration not just straight up from the medieval fantasy side of things. It seems far more Renaissance, moving towards the Renaissance era.
Well, there was a Plague Doctor in there.
Yeah.
One that caught my eye, though, is this one right here, the lady riding what appears to be a gigantic wolf. That looks like it's going to be an absolute joy to paint up. Oh,
there were loads that caught my eye. Now, carry on in there. I want to scroll through some of these.
Okay, scrolling up or scrolling down?
Yes. Well, at the very top, there was one that actually caught my eye. Oh, this guy here, Pontifex Conrad.
Up or
down? Down. There he is.
There we go.
I love that guy. There's something very classic to that. But if you go to the very top, there was one model that caught my eye. The very, very top.
Okay, let's see if this works. Hey!
Yeah, now down. If on this scroll, if we go, there's one that's a kind of Harlequin looking.
There we are.
Yeah, that one, the Harlequin spellcaster. I love that.
Very interesting. Even the way they've laid these out is very interesting, because if you look, as the miniature moves back, it fades out a shot and then comes back in. That adds so much depth to the actual 3D rotation there. It's very cool.
Yeah. Now, I can tell you exactly why I love that particular model right there.
Right.
The second I saw it, I had flashbacks to one of my favourite games on the PS1 when I was a kid.
Right, what was that?
I can't remember its name. I think it was called...
It was my favourite! It was my everything! I can't remember its name.
I think it was called Pandemonium. It was a platformer. One of the characters... Do you remember it, Ben?
No, I don't, but it sounds cool.
Good night.
Yeah, it's one of those ones that I hear doesn't have a great reputation now, and it's probably better in my memory than it was. But
I have said I went back and played Tekken 3 a few months back, and it was just me going, why is everything so sharp-edged? It's weird. This was flawless 3D when in my childhood. What happened? You did not age well, Tekken 3. You did not age well.
Never go back. Actually, no, I love retro games.
Yeah, no, you see some of the old 2D top-down, like Command and Conquers, I still love playing those.
They're superb. Anyway, if we go back even further to the year 1666.
Interesting segue.
Yeah, you see? Yeah.
So yeah, this is the other Kickstarter we're going to be looking at today is Anno Domini 1660. This 1666.
1660.
And this is by Wargamer Games Studios. You may remember them. They're the guys behind games like By Fire and Sword, which is a very cool game as well. And this is a skirmishing game where you play with around 5 to 12 different models per side in a historical setting, which also has some fantastical elements starting to the mix as well. It's a game system that's done away with dice, and it uses a very cool card-based system in terms of the mechanics and how that all comes together, which is always nice to see because I really like that way of mitigating luck factors in games. It's one of the big things that has drawn me to Gloomhaven, for example, as well. It's really cool. And of course, Malifaux is the mother of all these ones too. The game is played out on some really, really lovely looking lavish boards where you play through different scenarios and things like that. Games can take as little as maybe half an hour up to maybe an hour and a half on the number of models you want to throw into the mix. They've got some very, very cool models within the main faction box there. So you've got the likes of the Defenders of the Crown. We've got the Royal Musketeers, which I'm sure everyone will be very familiar with. And then we've got the colourful locals as well that you'll be meeting on your travels, which is really nice too. I believe as well, all the models are one piece. And you can either get them in like their plasticky resin, or you can get them as metal models if you want through the campaign, which is very, very cool indeed. There are a whole bunch of extra factions planned for this game as well. They're really drawing on this idea of it being historically inspired. So it's very much based in reality, but then it has this tie back into a fantasy element as well, almost looking back into kind of how the people at the time would have viewed the world, and that being the element of fantasy they bring in here, which is really cool. So you've got the likes of the Envoy of the High Port, you've got the Order of the Broken Cross, which is sort of like the protagonist within this world as well, which is really cool. And then of course there's some werewolves, because you kind of have a game set in Eastern Europe without werewolves, and that's the fantasy expansion called Blood Moon, which is very cool as well. So yeah, I believe you guys have actually done a cool interview with them as well, which is really nice, which we shared on the site earlier this week, I think. So
yeah, and we were talking about the Brotherhood there, and I'm totally sold on these. That is gorgeous work. I love this guy with the crossbow with the winding handles on the side. That is such a nice detail to have.
Now, you see, this is going to be an interesting thing, because I am geeking out about the fantasy side of things, because it's from all that folklore and period of literature I love.
Yeah.
But I'm actually geeking out about a historical part of this, because from my HEMA, I look at a lot of the old fencing manuals, and it's great to see the attention into the stances with a lot of these sculpts, even right down to the footwork, proper fencing footwork with a lot of them.
That's really cool. Yeah. I believe it's one of the things that the designer talked very much in depth about when it comes to the game itself. Like we did a little bit of a preview article a couple of weeks ago as well, and that one of the big things they brought up in that was this idea that they want everything to have a very historical grounding, because that's what they love and that's what they do. They do historical games, like if you look at By Fire and Sword, and there are so many amazing stories to be told from this kind of Eastern European side of culture and society, and it's very cool to see this coming down to the tabletop and being played out in this really nice skirmishy narrative way as well. So
it's superb. It's a dark setting I absolutely love. Basically, this game was made for me. I love this game.
I love the way they've designed their images to show whether it's unlocked or not. It's such a simple thing, but seeing the open lock with the gate thing pulled apart, if we scroll further down, that's unlocked, and that's now locked.
Yeah.
That is such a clever little piece of design. I love it.
Yeah,
they've been doing some really good stuff with the stretch goals for this, and really communicating back with the community as well, and seeing what they like as well. So
yeah.
Well, having seen the quality of the models these guys can produce, I'm expecting something exceptional here.
Yeah, I really want to see more of this.
Yeah.
I want to see more musketeers. I want to see more vampires and werewolves. I want to see the folklore and the fencing and the fighting and the glaive and.
Just in case you're interested about the model quality, there is actually a little bit of a preview on their Kickstarter page. So if you want to go and check out what the traditional model will look like that everybody will get, and what the uncoated metal model will look like as well, you can go and check that out as well. So go and have a look. Yeah.
Okay, it's that time.
Yeah. Well, first, I think we need to take a quick break to tell you about some hubs, and then we'll be back to tell you about our competitions.
Take control of armies from the 5 kingdoms of Araucania and vie for the throne of the ancient king in Wrath of Kings. Master your skills on the battlefield over on beastofwar.com. Anime cyberpunk style meets skirmish combat in Infinity. Experience 8 high-tech factions and fight to control the human sphere at the Infinity Hub on beastofwar.com.
And we're back.
Now we can do the prizes.
Yeah, and we're back with a ton of prizes.
Yeah, and
jammy dancing at the ready.
Okay, this jammy dance session is about to become like a flash mob. I kid you not. It's going to be like a Mexican wave around the planet.
Ooh. If you do a jammy dance when you get a win, please be sure to put a video in the comments below of your jammy dance.
I don't think we can put videos in the comments.
Link to a video in the comments below. Okay, let's start off with the Godslayer prizes.
Yeah, it was a very cool one.
Yeah. Now, remind me, what did they have to do to win this one, Ben?
So they had to talk about which of the which mythology or which fantasy sort of legendary pantheon they'd like to see brought into the world of Godslayer by Megalith Games, and we had some cool responses to this one.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
All right. Let's not beat around the bush on this one. Let's see who has won the Blood and Bronze 2-player starter set.
There were 3 prizes. First was the Blood and Bronze 2-player starter set.
Yes.
Then there was then there were 2 single-player starter sets with rulebooks.
Yes. So the winner of the Blood and Bronze 2-player starter set is 114 Artist,
Yes.
saying, "I'm with Ben. Egyptian is the mythology I'd look for the next Godslayer faction."
Well
Good shout.
done.
Definitely a good shout.
Yeah.
And you didn't just win because you agreed with me.
Ben? You didn't.
Well, no,
I
because I was the one who randomly selected these ones. So, no, it wasn't because you agreed with Ben
Okay.
this time.
Do you want to take the next
Congratulations,
one,
144 Artist.
Yeah.
Next, we have... Drumroll, please. We have No Sense of Rhythm. Aaron78. And they said, for Godslayer, I would like to see Polynesian.
Sam? Ooh.
Yeah. Mythology that is very ocean-focused would be interesting.
That could look very nice.
That would
And
be
knowing how they
amazing.
sculpt their stuff, that could be good.
Oh, I would love to see that. And for the third one...
Let Ben do it.
Yeah, I was going to say, Ben, do you want to
For the
tackle the third one?
Yeah, so for the third one, which wins a starter set and a rulebook, we've got Silver Fox 8, who said, I'd like to see a South American faction in Godslayer like the Incan Empire. That could be very cool. I think that they would be very cool and give a very different vibe to the game. So, interesting idea indeed. Maybe Megalith Games have been watching this and they're going to take some of these on board. That'd be very cool indeed.
Yeah.
Knowing the guys at Megalith, they were probably reading the comments and keeping an eye out for any cool ideas just to nab and say, wave 3.
So, if Egyptians turn up in the next one, it's entirely because of you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, congratulations, you three. Be sure to remember to claim your prize. The menu over there on beastsofwar.com.
Up there
Over
on
there,
the top
yeah.
right corner, beastsofwar.com, on the homepage, there is a drop down that says contact us. In there you will find claim a prize button.
It's somewhere over here.
Stop playing with the ether.
It's up there.
Stop playing with the ether. Alright, now, I would like to tell everybody exactly what they have to do to win this week's prize before we jump on to our salute prizes.
yeah.
So, just to remind you, we are giving away a Red Oak 2-player starter set for Wild West Exodus with a set of Red Oak terrain. To win, you have to tell us what your favourite Wild West Exodus miniature is. So that can be any of the miniatures from any of the factions. Which one jumps out to you and screams at you, buy me, pay me, do it now!
What would be your one?
Oh, would have to be Willis Shaw from the Union. Lovely pack because it comes with her mounted on one of the Iron Horses and an unmounted version. But the one on the Iron Horse is just so gorgeous. The details are crisp and lovely and oh my god, yes. I want it.
They are some beautiful models.
Yeah,
So
that's probably on my list for going to UK Games Expo. I'm going to hook one of those.
be sure to head over to the Wild West Exodus page, check out the models, and leave
Yep.
your comment in below.
Yep, and don't forget while you're over there, they do have all of the rules online for Wild West Exodus 2nd edition if you're curious, including all of the stat cards which are updated to date for the rules for each of the miniatures. So you could actually maybe do yourself a little bit of list building and maybe actually have yourself a wish list of the things you want to pick up.
Excellent. Anyway, let's move on to the big one.
Salute.
It's finally here. The salute winners. Yeah. How many of you are there? This is a big list.
Yeah, I think we'll do this in a round robin. So I'm going to start with What a Tanker, okay?
Okay.
Because there's one in here I want to save to the end. It's the very first one on the list. Should have put it at the end of the list. Okay, so What a Tanker, rulebook and tokens from Two Fat Larrys. It is Nickel.
Congratulations, Nickel.
Get your prize claiming.
Yeah. Next up, we have the full Shogunate terrain set from Bandua War Games.
Uh-huh.
And it is James G. Congratulations. Be sure to claim your prize on beastsofwar.com. Ben, if you want to take the next one.
Yeah, so a copy of Spitefire by Hysterical Games was won by Cadmon. So there you go, well done.
Yep.
Yeah?
Joe K was giving away a £25 store voucher, so I'm guessing that's the online store. That has been won by Ama-chan.
Yeah. Next, we have our friends at Wargamer, who are giving away Janine the Hussar.
Yes.
Yes.
From their lovely pinup range.
And the winner of that was Mischief. Well named for this one.
Congratulations.
Okay.
Then we look over to Paranoid Miniatures, who are giving away 2 Mythos factions of your choice and 2 rulebooks, and this was won by Stormin Wolf.
Nice.
Cool name indeed.
Excellent.
Yeah, I've had a lot of fun with the Priory I picked up at Salute. They're a lovely set of miniatures to work on. The next up was a Guild Ball bag plus foam insert from Battle Foam, and I believe that's the new Heavenly Foam.
I think so.
So that is won by Sigma15.
Excellent. Then from there we have Blood Red Sky Squadron of your choice from Warlord Games, and it's Baronora.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, Baronora.
Ben.
Cool, yeah. So the next one is a Medieval Knights plastic set from Conquest Games. It was won by The Tiki. Well done indeed.
Next up, we have the Guild Ball Ratcatchers mat from the guys over at Deep Cut Studio. That has been won by Dags.
Congratulations, Dags.
I like Dags.
Gotcha.
Oh dear. Then next we have the, let's see if I can pronounce this, Akitian monster from Twilight Miniatures. And the winner of that one is Otaku Girl.
Congrats.
And Ben?
Yeah, we're also then looking to Gripping Beast, who are giving away the Saracen plastic warband set, and this was won by PT9. Well done.
Excellent.
Nice. Next, we had two Collision. Is it?
Two Collision faction
Yep.
sets.
Two Collision starter faction sets of your choice from Code Orange Games. Yeah.
Won by Tachycardia.
Tachycardia, yeah.
There we go. I couldn't get that one out. Sorry, Tachycardia. Your title is a tongue twister.
It's a medical term. Okay, next we have the T14 Armata tank from Empress Miniatures.
Lovely vehicle.
And the winner of that is Janus1004.
Congratulations.
Ben?
Spectre Miniatures were then giving away a Spectre Fireteam squad, and this was won by Duster. So well done there.
Congratulations. We then had a sci-fi landing pad set from Sarissa Precision, and this was won by Emptiness is Form.
Yes. Then we have the Ratcatchers Guild set from Steamforged Games.
Gorgeous
I believe
minis.
you've got a set
Gorgeous
of that.
minis. Yeah, Jamie gave them to me for my birthday. I was shocked. No, I kid you not. That man did not warn me before he gave me those on camera. He was just like, "Oh, Justin, it's your birthday. Here."
Yeah.
Thank you.
Now it's time for one of you to get one too.
Yeah.
And the winner of that is Jax78. Congratulations. They're beautiful figures.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Crooked Dice were giving away a version of their 7TV buggy, and this was won by K-Rack, so Kayrack. Well done to you. Yeah.
Then the guys at White Dragon Miniatures were giving away a set of British Mark IV infantry platoon.
Mm-hmm.
Mark IV, yes, VI.
Yes.
Mark
Mark
VI.
6.
Mark
It's
Six.
Mark 6. Sorry.
Apologies. I'm terrible with Roman numerals. I hate them. This was won by Darth Cheese. Or is it Darth the Cheese?
I think it's Darth Cheese.
I think it's Darth Cheese, yeah. Yeah. So called after the smell of what it's like inside Vader's helmet. Okay. Then we have the Arkworld faction starter set, again of your choice, from Warplock Miniatures. And the winner of that is Cabal Trainee. Congratulations.
Mm-hmm.
We then had a Foot Knights plastic set from Fireforge Games, and this was won by Taylors. So Taywlawlz, just in case the spelling was a bit off there, but there you go. Taylors.
Yep. Our next one was a bit of a big prize. So this was the Armoured Fist book, command cards, unit cards, and the Churchill's King Force from Battlefront. This was won by Turak.
That's a big prize there. Then we have the Industrial Sector Terrain from Art of War Studios. A lot of people were very excited about this.
Yeah, Grant's doing some lovely
Yeah.
stuff.
And this was won by Paragon. Congratulations.
And we then look to Osor Miniatures. What an amazing coincidence. And this was the Burrows and Badgers rulebook plus an exclusive miniature and an extra scenario. And this was won by Snowyak. So have fun with that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, so next up we have a copy of Star Saga up for grabs from the good people over at Mantic Games. The winner is Gaz KY, or Gazki. I'm not sure how you pronounce some of these. This gets confusing.
Yeah.
Just a smidge.
Then we have a Drop Fleet and Drop Zone Commander starter set plus 6 Sandstorm terrain kits from TT Combat.
Mm-hmm.
And that is won by Haroldo Skald.
Nice.
Yep, Ben?
Yeah, we then move on to Great Escape Games, who are giving away a copy of their 1914 rulebook, which is a very, very cool First World War game to go and check out. And that was won by Warhammer Grimace. So well done indeed.
Congratulations. Right. The next one is Star Trek Adventures Crew of Your Set from Mophidius.
You mean Adventures Crew set of your choice?
Yes. What did I say?
You said Star Trek Adventures Crew of your set.
Oh, sorry. Sorry.
So many prizes.
Yeah.
So many prizes. The brain power. It's melting.
Who won?
It was Tuffy years?
Tough years.
Tough years or Tuffy ears?
Yeah.
Well done.
Either way, congratulations. And then we come to the big one.
I'm doing this one.
Oh.
This one is all me. Because
Okay.
this was the big one for me for this event. We were giving away a full 6x4 Jezeri landing bay, the kits for such, from Foreground. This is a prize that is worth about, I don't even want to guess, just because there's that much bloody terrain to it. But the winner was Torikova! Congratulations.
Yeah.
You've got a beautiful Star Wars Legion table coming to you right now, and if you're not playing Star Wars Legion, you're going to buy some.
And that's it. That is all the salute winners. That is all of them. We are done.
Until next year.
Until next year.
Yeah.
Shut up.
Don't forget, do not forget that not this weekend, but not the following next weekend, but the one after that, we are at UK Games Expo covering the event.
And of course, last weekend, Dawn and Gianna were covering Simon, and there was a Simon prize as well.
Oh, was there?
Yes, there was.
Are we saving
the
this?
Simon goodie bag.
Oh, so you still have time to get your comments
Yes.
in on that if you want a chance to win.
Yeah, we'll be sure to boost the post, I think, for that
Yeah,
blog.
sure.
So you have another chance to get your comments in.
All right.
And then we'll be announcing that next time.
All right, if I might do the wrap up this week. Okay, everybody, we are going to wrap up this show. Make sure and come across and join us tomorrow morning on beastofwar.com, where we are going to be holding Beast of War's The Weekender XLBS, and I've screwed up. Come across and join us on Backstage, because we will have more gaming goodness and more interesting gaming chats. So, Beast of War Backstage is kind of one of those things that keeps the light on for the studio, keeps all of us, in work, actually keeps us creating all the free content that everybody enjoys. Because if you're a backstager, you're not just paying for extra backstage content. You are the backbone of this community. You are paying for that front stage content, and we could not do it without you. So maybe come across, think about joining us, and we will see you tomorrow morning.
See you then.
Go ahead and check out our other content on screen now, and be sure to check out beastofwar.com for the latest gaming news and gaming Let's Plays. And while you're at it, why not hit subscribe, and remember to ding our dong. Go on, you know you want to click it. Go on.